Let me tell you something that maybe no one else has dared to say. Every single day, you're making choices that shape your life, and most of the time, you don't even realize it. I'm fine like this. I don't have time. Maybe later. Sound familiar? Those little phrases are like bricks building a wall between you and the life you truly want. Now, here's the question. Will you keep being your own obstacle in 2026, or will this be the year everything changes? In this video, I'll show you how to completely transform your life once and for all. But this isn't about empty resolutions or magic formulas. We're diving into timeless principles, practical tools, and Stoic teachings that have helped countless people, from ancient philosophers to those seeking a fuller, more meaningful life today. And I know what you might be thinking. Can something so old really change my life now? My friend, the answer is a resounding yes. I'm going to share 10 rules that could be the difference between just another year and the best year of your life. Are you ready to start living your best life today? Before we continue, if you're finding value in this content, consider subscribing and becoming an exclusive member to unlock unique benefits. And let us know in the comments, what change will you make today to completely transform your life? We'd love to hear how you plan to take the first step toward your best self. Lesson 1. Take charge of your life. There's an old story about a man who fell into a deep pit while walking along a path. Realizing his situation, he started shouting as loudly as he could, hoping someone would come to rescue him. First, he cursed the pit for being there. "Who leaves a hole like this in the middle of the road?" he complained. Then he blamed the sun, saying it didn't shine bright enough to help him see where he was going. Finally, he got angry at his shoes. "They're worn out, that's why I slipped." Time passed and no one came. Each minute he spent waiting sank him deeper into despair. Eventually, the man came to an uncomfortable truth. No one was coming to get him out. If he wanted to climb out, he'd have to stop blaming everything around him and start pulling himself up. Sound familiar? Maybe you haven't fallen into a literal pit, but every time you blame others for what's happening in your life, it's like staying stuck in that hole. Feeling trapped at work? "It's my boss's fault. Your relationships aren't going well? It's the other person, they just don't get me." And so, bit by bit, you hand over control of your life to everything and everyone else. But let me tell you this, that kind of story has no hero. It's just someone waiting. Let me be blunt, even if it's hard to hear. Your circumstances are the result of your decisions. But don't panic, it's not the end of the world. If you accept responsibility for where you are, you also gain the power to change everything. If you truly want to transform your life, you have to start owning this today. Epictetus summed it up with a powerful truth. Circumstances don't make the man, they only reveal him. Think about that for a second. Tough situations don't define you. They reveal who you are and how you choose to face them. Blaming others or external factors keeps you stuck, but taking responsibility sets you free. Because when you take control, you get to decide who you want to be and how you want to live. So, how do you start taking charge of your life in just one day? First, stop looking for someone to blame. Starting today, when you face a problem, don't ask, "Whose fault is this?" Instead, ask, "What can I do to change this?" That small shift in mindset changes everything. Second, take one action that's completely yours. If you're unhappy with your finances, make a list of unnecessary expenses and cut one of them today. If you feel disconnected from someone important, stop waiting for them to reach out. Be the one to make the call. The key is to act, not wait. Third, ask yourself what part of your life isn't aligned with your values, and make a decision about it. It doesn't have to be a huge change. For instance, if you value your health but haven't been taking care of yourself, start today. Take a 20-minute walk or choose a healthier meal. It's simple, but it's transformative. Here's the difference between those who move forward and those who stay stuck. The ones who move forward stop waiting for someone to pull them out of the pit. They choose to act, they take charge. So now I ask you, are you going to keep making excuses, or are you going to start choosing your life? You don't have to fix everything in one day, but you can start today. And that first step, no matter how small, changes everything. Think better, act better, and start climbing out of the pit today. Lesson 2. Discipline what you need, not what you want. My friend, I'm going to ask you for a small favor. Don't worry, it's not money or help painting my house. It's this. Be honest before you answer. Tell me the truth. How many times have you skipped doing something because you just didn't feel like it? Getting up early, starting a workout, reading that book that's been sitting on your list for months. You probably thought, tomorrow, I'll feel motivated for sure. But let me ask you, what happened when tomorrow arrived? Spoiler, nothing. Because it's not about motivation, it's about discipline. Do you think Kobe Bryant woke up every single day eager to train at 4 in the morning? Of course not. But he did it anyway. He said his success wasn't about talent. It was about his relentless routine. Or think about the Stoics. If they were alive today, do you think they'd stop because it was cold or their bed was too cozy? Not a chance. They would do what needed to be done. As Seneca said, the man who lives under his passions is a slave. The one who lives under discipline is free. Did you know that turning your dreams into reality isn't magic? It's biology. Andrew Huberman, a neuroscientist at Stanford, explains it brilliantly. Listen to this. Every time you repeat an action, no matter how small, you're training your brain as if it were a muscle. You're literally creating new neural connections. And here's the best part. You don't need to do anything grand or perfect. You just need to start small. Even a habit as simple as dedicating 5 minutes a day to something can snowball into something much bigger. Repeat it, stick with it, and your brain will do the rest. It's science, not luck. Think about this. When you're watching your favorite show, the one you're totally hooked on, you tell yourself, just 5 more minutes. And before you know it, 30 minutes have flown by because you're enjoying it so much. Sound familiar? Now imagine taking those same 5 minutes and putting them toward a habit you want to build. Reading, exercising, meditating, whatever it is. 5 minutes a day, every day. Do it today, tomorrow, and the day after. At first, it might feel small, but those 5 minutes are incredibly powerful. Over time, surprise, you've built a habit. I know. You're probably thinking, but what if in that moment I just want to... Shh, stop right there. This isn't about what you want. It's about what you need to transform your life and achieve what you truly desire. To show you how simple it can be, let's use an example. You want to improve your fitness, but you never seem to find the right time to start. Try this. Today, go for a 5-minute walk. Just 5 minutes. Tomorrow, do it again. By next week, you might feel like walking 10 minutes. And before you know it, that habit will become your bridge to reaching your goals. Just like with your favorite show, before you even realize it, you'll want to dedicate more time to it. And don't get it twisted. Discipline doesn't take away your freedom. On the contrary, it gives you freedom. Because when you're disciplined, you choose what to do with your life instead of being controlled by what others expect of you or what you feel like doing in the moment. So, what are you waiting for? This is your year, your moment to transform yourself. Don't leave it in the hands of motivation, because motivation is unreliable. Discipline, on the other hand, is what will take you far. It's your best ally for achieving everything you've ever wanted. Lesson 3. Live with less, gain more. Have you ever felt like your life is so packed that you can barely breathe? I'm not just talking about stuff, but also the noise, the commitments, and the endless thoughts that weigh you down. Picture this. You come home after a long day. You drop your keys on the table, hang up your coat, and you're greeted by piles of stuff. Papers, unopened emails, a to-do list that never seems to end. It's overwhelming, isn't it? It feels like every little thing around you is sand piling up in the room, slowly filling the space. At first, it's just a thin layer under your feet. But before long, you're stuck knee-deep, unable to move. Every object, every unnecessary commitment is another handful of sand burying you, leaving no room to breathe or think clearly. That feeling of being overloaded? It's a real barrier to your well-being. Here's the key. Living with less doesn't mean giving up what's important. It means making space for what truly matters. The Stoics understood this centuries ago. To them, accumulating things was a distraction from what's real. Imagine if Marcus Aurelius lived today. His day would start with endless meetings, documents to sign, and all the pressures of leading an empire. Then he'd come home to a house cluttered with pointless stuff, thousands of unread emails, and social commitments that add no value. How do you think he'd feel? Overwhelmed, just like you and me. So, as a true Stoic, what would he do? He'd focus on what really matters. He'd let go of anything that doesn't contribute to his purpose, his serenity, or his inner peace. That's exactly what I'm inviting you to do today. A lot of people think living with less means giving everything up, but it's not about loss, it's about gain. When you remove what's unnecessary, you reclaim your time, your energy, and your mental clarity. And trust me, I know this firsthand. Inspired by the Japanese writer Fumio Sasaki, a minimalist icon, I decided to simplify my life after reading about the clarity and peace he gained. I started with the basics, getting rid of everything I didn't use or need. The result? I felt lighter, clearer, like I'd made space in my mind as well as my home. As Sasaki says, when you have less, you value more. And you might be thinking, what's there to value if you don't have much? Time, calm, and focus on what truly matters, my friend. So how can you start living with less? Begin with something physical. Look at that closet stuffed with clothes you never wear. Don't overthink it. Just start. Throw out what you don't need or donate what no longer serves you. Do it today, because in one single day, that small action can free you from a burden you didn't even realize you were carrying. You'll see how clearing physical space clears your mind, giving you a sense of control and clarity. Next, tackle a commitment. We all have that automatic yes, that desire to please others. But ask yourself, what have you agreed to that isn't helping you move forward? Maybe it's a meeting that could have been an email, or a social activity that's draining your time. Today, cut one thing from your schedule that doesn't add value to your life. And lastly, what about your thoughts? How many times a day do you find yourself worrying about things you can't control or stressing about the future? Here's my challenge. Take 5 minutes today to meditate or simply breathe deeply. Just 5 minutes. It'll be your anchor, your moment of calm amidst the chaos. At the end of the day, it's all about this. You're not what you accumulate. You're what you choose to keep. Every single thing you let go of is a step toward a lighter, freer, and more focused life. So, are you ready to take that step today? Because trust me, living with less doesn't take anything away from you. On the contrary, it gives you everything back. Lesson 4. Build goals that matter. Do you know what's sad about the goals most people set? They aren't truly theirs. They're copied from someone else. They want to earn more money because that's what you're supposed to do. Have the perfect body because that's how I'll be happy. Or buy things they don't even need just to feel validated. But here's an uncomfortable truth. Those hollow goals won't fulfill you, let alone transform you. It's like building a house. Imagine decorating it on the outside. Perfect paint, flowers in the garden, bright lights on the facade. Beautiful, right? But what happens if the foundation isn't solid? The first storm will knock it all down. The same thing happens with your goals when you chase external successes without a real foundation. A house without a strong base doesn't last, and goals without purpose don't transform. That's why your goals need to matter to you. They should help build who you are on the inside. A Stoic would see it this way. Goals aren't about showing the world something. They're about building something within yourself. Virtues like temperance, doing what needs to be done even when it's hard, and justice, acting with balance and purpose, are far more valuable than any external success. As Seneca said, if you don't know to which port you're sailing, no wind will be favorable. Think about this. How do you want to step into the new year? Still on autopilot, without clarity or purpose? Or would you rather arrive knowing exactly what you're building and why? Because the person who acts with purpose doesn't just achieve goals, They transform themselves in the process. If you're tired of wasting time on meaningless goals, it's time to get smart, literally and figuratively. This simple yet powerful technique is your ticket to setting goals that are not just clever, but truly transformative. Let's break it down and make your ambitions sharper, clearer, and smarter. Each letter stands for something you'll remember and can use every time you want to transform your life. Let's start with S for specific. Vague goals won't cut it. Don't say, "I want to get in shape." What does that even mean? Running a marathon or just climbing the stairs without gasping for air? Be clear and concrete. For example, I will train 3 days a week for 30 minutes. A specific goal tells you what you want to do and how you'll achieve it. Without a clear target, you're just shooting arrows in the dark. Next is M for measurable. How do you know you're making progress if you can't measure it? If you want to improve your finances, don't say, "I'll save more money." Instead, decide, "I'll save €100 a month by cutting 2 unnecessary expenses." Tracking progress keeps you motivated, because if you can't measure it, it doesn't exist. And if it doesn't exist, it won't change. Then comes A for achievable. Let's be realistic here. If you haven't read a book in years, don't set a goal to read 20 in a month. That'll only leave you frustrated. Start small and achievable. I'll read 10 pages every night before bed. Perfection paralyzes. Progress, no matter how small, moves you forward. The R stands for relevant. This is where the Stoics teach us to focus on what truly matters. Ask yourself, why do I want this? Don't set goals just to impress others. Set goals that build something meaningful within you. For example, don't train just to look good. Train because you want to be disciplined, strong, and healthy. When a goal aligns with your values, you'll find the strength to keep going, even when excuses creep in. Finally, T for time-bound. Give your goal a deadline. If you don't, you'll never start. Don't say, "I'll do it someday." Say, "I'll start tomorrow," or "This month I'll save €100. Deadlines create urgency, and urgency gets you moving. When I started applying this in my life, I realized that it's not about ticking things off a list. It's about becoming more disciplined, more intentional, and stronger. And that is what transforms your life. So don't wait any longer. Grab a pen and paper. Write down one goal that truly matters to you, and most importantly, take that first step. Share in the comments what goal you're setting. We want to be part of this new version of you. And now, do you want to know the key to genuine transformation? Stay with me a little longer, I'll tell you. Lesson 5. Optimize your energy. You've been there. The day starts with an endless to-do list. Work, house chores, taking care of your family, it's all on your plate. But you're tired, distracted, and even after hours in front of the screen, all you manage to cross off is one tiny task. Then, at 10 at night, just when you're supposed to wind down, you suddenly feel full of energy and your best ideas start flowing. Sound familiar? This isn't about willpower, it's about energy. Let's be clear, you're not a machine that can perform at the same level all day long. If you push yourself to work harder when your energy is low, it won't work. It's like trying to push open a door that swings the other way. No matter how hard you try, it won't budge. The key to transforming your life in a single day is identifying and making the most of your energy peaks. Why waste your best hours on unimportant tasks when you could use them to focus on what truly matters? Trust me, when you start working with your energy instead of against it, it's like rowing with the current. You start to move effortlessly. Society seems to demand that we all work the same hours, 9 to 5. But what if that schedule doesn't help you optimize your time and energy? Andrew Huberman, a neuroscientist at Stanford University, explains that our performance is directly tied to our circadian rhythms. Here's the interesting part. Not everyone's rhythms are the same. Some people hit their peak energy early in the morning, right as the sun rises. They wake up refreshed, with a clear mind, ready to take on the world. Others, on the other hand, are night owls. They struggle to get going in the morning, but when the evening rolls around, they hit their stride, bursting with creativity and focus. So, do you know which type of person you are? That's the first thing you need to figure out. If you're a morning person, your early hours are sacred. Use that time for tasks that require focus, creativity, or problem solving. If you're more of a night owl, respect your rhythm and save your best projects for the evening, when your energy is at its peak. Once you know when your energy is at its highest, prioritize your tasks. Reserve that time for your most important work. Don't waste it on emails or scrolling through social media. For instance, if mornings are your prime time, dedicate those hours to your most demanding projects, writing, creating, or planning. Leave lighter tasks like organizing files or replying to messages for the hours when your energy dips. Here's a piece of advice that might surprise you. Rest. Yes, taking breaks is essential to optimizing your energy. If you try to force yourself to be productive when you're drained, what will you achieve? Frustration and wasted time. Instead, take a moment to recharge. Stand up, breathe, go for a 5-minute walk. That small break will refuel you and help you make the most of your next working hour. And remember what Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do every act as if it were the last act of your life." What does this teach us? Focus completely on what you're doing, but do it at the right time. It's not about doing more, it's about doing better. Imagine what you could achieve if, starting today, you organized your tasks around your energy levels instead of following an arbitrary schedule. How would your life transform? The difference is huge. When you align your work with your best self, everything flows. So stop forcing yourself to push that door at the wrong time. Learn to move with your energy, and you'll see how, in just one day, you start gaining time and seeing results. Sixth lesson. Flow with the changes. What if I told you that changing your mindset isn't enough? Yes, it's an important step, but there's something else you need. Learning to flow with whatever life throws at you. Think about this. Change is like a river's current. You can stay still, resisting, and let it drag you as you struggle. Or you can move with it, adapt, and use that same current to propel yourself forward. Which option do you think will take you further? If you're here, it's because you want to transform your life, but you're still clinging to the same old things. You're holding on to what's familiar. But listen, nothing changes if nothing changes. It's like being a ship anchored in the harbor, afraid to set sail into open waters. And while you stay there, motionless, watching the waves pass by, opportunities drift further away. How long will you let yourself stay stuck? As the Chinese philosopher Zhuangzi said, "Flow with whatever may happen and let your mind be free." You know what you should do? Set this phrase as your phone's wallpaper or write it somewhere you'll see it every day. Because this isn't about giving up. It's about adapting. It's about stopping the fight against the inevitable and learning to use it to your advantage. Flow, my friend, flow. Picture Marcus Aurelius facing the storms of his time. Wars, betrayals, plagues. He didn't waste time wishing things were different. He knew he couldn't change the wind, but he could adjust his sails. "Accept with serenity whatever fate brings you," he wrote, and that's the essence of flowing with change. It doesn't mean letting the world drag you along. It means learning how to move with it. Accepting change isn't easy, I get it. It's scary. But think about this. Life doesn't wait. It changes constantly, whether you like it or not. So why resist? Think of a surfer facing a wave. If they fight the current, they'll get knocked down. But if they flow with the wave, they can turn that same force into momentum. That's exactly what you need to do. Put yourself in this situation. One day, you arrive at work, and they tell you your position has been eliminated. It's a tough blow, isn't it? Your first instinct might be anger, resistance, or frustration. But what if instead, you decide to flow with the situation? You think, okay, this isn't what I expected, but what can I do now? You use the time to update your resume, take a course you've always wanted, and connect with people in your industry. Instead of getting stuck in the why me, you move forward with the what can I do, and the best part, that unexpected change could lead to a much better opportunity. So, how can you apply this to your life? First, prepare for the unexpected with a plan B. Do you have an important goal? Think about what you'd do if things don't go as planned. For example, if you're looking for a new job but haven't found the ideal one yet, what intermediate steps could you take? Having an alternative plan doesn't mean you're expecting failure. It means you're ensuring you'll keep moving forward. Second, always look for the lesson in change. Did a relationship end? Ask yourself what it taught you. Did a project fail? Reflect on what you could do differently next time. Every change, no matter how uncomfortable, brings a lesson, but it's up to you to find it. Third, focus on your core values. Flowing with change doesn't mean losing sight of who you are. On the contrary, your values are what keep you grounded amidst the movement. Think of them as the roots of a tree. The wind may bend it, but it won't be uprooted if its roots run deep. Don't fear change. Embrace it, because that's where the magic happens. Changing your mindset helps you see opportunities, but learning to flow with change is what allows you to seize them. So, catch the wave, adjust your sails, and remember, the greatest achievements are born when we stop resisting life's movement. Lesson 7. Cultivate daily reflection. My friend, I'm going to share something deeply personal with you, something I've never admitted before. There was a time in my life when I couldn't stand myself. Truly, I didn't like how I acted, how I looked, or how I spoke to myself. Everything I did seemed wrong, and instead of trying to understand it, I just punished myself. The guilt and frustration piled up, and I kept moving forward on autopilot, never stopping to figure out why I felt that way. Then one day, I decided to try something different. I started reflecting every night. It wasn't a big thing, just 5 minutes at the end of each day to write down what I'd done well, what I'd done poorly, and what I could change tomorrow. At first, I felt ridiculous, like I was talking to someone who didn't want to listen. But little by little, I began to understand myself. I started noticing patterns. I realized that not everything I did was wrong, that some things were worth celebrating. Reflecting helped me improve my relationship with myself, and, most importantly, make more conscious decisions. Let's be clear. Daily reflection isn't about writing an essay or spending hours staring at the ceiling like they make it look on social media. It's about taking a few minutes to look at yourself, no filters, no excuses, and asking, what did I do well today? What did I get wrong? What can I do differently tomorrow? This isn't just some trendy concept. Marcus Aurelius would sit down every night to write what we now know as meditations. He didn't write to impress anyone or to get likes. He did it for himself. It was his way of reflecting on what he'd done and how he could improve, like tidying up his house before bed. And that's exactly what reflection does. It organizes your thoughts, clears your mind, and prepares you to start a new day. And you know who else has always practiced this? The Japanese, with their concept of chowa, meaning balance and harmony. Accompany Tanaka, an author who writes about chowa, explains that daily reflection helps you understand how your actions and emotions fit into your life, like adjusting the pieces of a puzzle. It's simple. If you don't stop to think, how can you expect to change anything? Daily reflection is that moment where you take control and align what you do with what you truly want. But don't treat this like a boring chore. This is your moment for yourself, your chance to pause and adjust your course. And trust me, it works. Would I lie to you as a friend? Here's what I suggest. Starting today, take 5 minutes at the end of the day. Just 5. Grab a notebook, a piece of paper, or the Notes app on your phone. First, write down what you did well. Yes, what you did well. Maybe you had an important conversation or completed a small goal. Write it down, recognize it. Then write down what didn't go as planned. Not everything will be perfect, and that's okay. But don't beat yourself up. Instead, ask yourself, why did it turn out this way? What can I do differently tomorrow? The goal isn't to blame yourself, it's to find opportunities to grow. Why can this change your life in just one day? Because reflection is where you make peace with yourself and adjust your path to move forward a little better every day. When you understand yourself, you make better decisions. And when you make better decisions, your life improves. It's logical, isn't it? Lesson 8. Take back control of your life. I'm sure this sounds familiar. That person who always has an excuse for everything. When something goes wrong, it's never their fault. It's the boss who doesn't understand, the traffic that makes them late, the weather that ruins their plans. I remember a friend who was exactly like that. Every conversation with him was a parade of complaints and blame directed at everything and everyone. The world is against me, he'd say. But there was one thing he never asked himself. What if the problem wasn't the world, but how he was dealing with it? Until one day, after months of feeling stuck, something clicked. I remember it perfectly. We were having coffee, and suddenly, he went silent. He stared at his cup as if he'd found something at the bottom and said, "You know what? I think the problem is me. It's not the boss, the traffic, or anything else. It's me and how I'm handling everything." That day I reminded him of a phrase I'd read long ago, one that had left a deep impression on me. You have power over your mind, not over external events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Sound familiar? It's the one I shared at the start. Marcus Aurelius. From that moment on, things began to change for him. No, the world didn't suddenly become easier, but he became stronger. He started focusing on what he could control and stopped worrying about what was beyond his reach. And the interesting thing, he seemed calmer, more confident in himself. And are you letting things you can't control dictate your day? You don't need to answer me, I'm pretty sure you are. Tell me, what would happen if, instead of fighting against what's out of your hands, you started focusing on what is within your control? That's the key to completely transforming your life. Let's be clear, life will always have chaos. The world isn't going to align itself just so you can have a good day. But this is where you can take back control. Imagine if Marcus Aurelius lived today. He'd probably be horrified to see us constantly checking our phones every 5 minutes. He'd likely say something like, "Turn off the phone and take charge of your life." And he'd be absolutely right. So where can you start? It's simpler than you think. First, make a list of what you want to change. Write it down, as we talked about in the first point. But here's the crucial part. Split that list into 2 columns. On one side, write what's within your control. On the other, what isn't. You'll see that many of the things you worry about aren't up to you, and that's okay. Learn to let them go. Second, take 5 minutes a day to reflect on what happened and how you reacted. For example, think about that moment when someone cut you off in traffic. Did you get angry and let it ruin your mood for the rest of the day? Or that offhand comment you heard at work. Did you take it personally or just let it slide? Maybe you remember an argument with a friend or family member. How did you handle it? The key isn't in what happens, but in how you choose to respond. Those 5 minutes are your chance to learn about yourself, to identify patterns, and to decide if you want to act differently next time. Trust me, they can mean the difference between feeling overwhelmed by the day or empowered to face whatever tomorrow brings. My friend, taking control doesn't mean everything will be easy, but it does mean you'll be stronger. What are you waiting for to completely transform your life this year? Because if you don't take the reins of your life, someone else will. 9th lesson, make things happen. How many times have you said, "I'll do it tomorrow," or "I'll bring it up when the time is right"? And there it stays, swirling in your mind. That uncomfortable conversation, that decision you keep putting off. Life is full of little things that never get done because we believe we're waiting for the perfect moment. But let me tell you something, that moment doesn't exist. Picture this, you've been meaning to talk to your partner for weeks because you feel something's not right. Every day, you promise yourself, "I'll bring it up tonight." But when the moment comes, you think, "I don't want to ruin dinner." Today's not the day. Spoiler alert, that day never comes. And I know because I've been there too. Entrepreneur and content creator Alex Hormozi, someone who built his success from scratch, puts it bluntly, "Someday is not a date on the calendar. If you don't do it today, you'll never do it." Why? because there will always be an excuse, always a reason to postpone. But while you're waiting, others are taking action. While you hesitate, others move forward. The day you remove "someday" from your vocabulary and take action, no matter how small, your life begins to change. Yes, it starts right then and there. I'm telling you this because I've lived it myself. I watched that video from Alex Hormozi and decided to apply it to my life. That same day, I eliminated "someday" from my vocabulary and made a decision I'd been avoiding for months. I won't lie, it scared me. But that small step was the beginning of a massive transformation. And that's why I'm here telling you. Do it now, not later. And do you know why? Because life doesn't wait. As Marcus Aurelius once said, "Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death is on your heels. While you live, while it is in your power, be good." In other words, stop waiting. Action is the only thing that moves you closer to what you want, whether it's a change in your life, a better relationship, or the peace of mind you've been searching for. Every day you spend waiting is one less day to act. Now, my friend, I know what you're thinking, but it's not that easy. And I don't blame you. I used to think the same. The hard part isn't knowing what you need to do. The hard part is taking that first step. Because the first step is always scary. That uncomfortable conversation terrifies you because you don't know how it will go. That overdue workout feels daunting because you know it'll be tough. But here's the secret. If you wait until you're not afraid, you'll never do it. Are you ready to start making things happen today? First, pick one thing you've been putting off. Don't tell me there isn't one. That call you've been avoiding, that apology you know you need to make, or that small change you've been dodging. Write it down right now. Second, eliminate the word "someday" from your vocabulary. It doesn't exist, it's not on the calendar, and it never comes. The next time you catch yourself saying, "I'll do it someday," stop. Replace it with "today" or "right now." Because if you start today, even with the smallest step, you'll break the cycle of waiting. And that can transform your life in a single day. I'm not exaggerating. Action has immediate power. Here's a hard truth we don't like to think about. Not making a decision is still a decision. It's choosing to stay the same. But let me ask you this. Is that what you want? Do you want to stay stuck in the same situation, running in the same circle? The difference between people who achieve something and those who don't isn't in their ideas or resources. It's that some act and others wait. So, what are you going to do? Wait or make it happen? The choice is yours and it starts now. Lesson 10. Leave your mark on others. My friend, take a moment to reflect. What will remain of you when you're no longer here? I'm not talking about material possessions or titles on a business card. I mean the mark you leave on people. How have your actions benefited others? What impact are you having on the lives of those around you? Society is like a vast tapestry, and each of us is a thread. If a thread breaks or doesn't fulfill its role, the fabric weakens. Or, as Marcus Aurelius put it, what does not benefit the hive does not benefit the bee. And here's the beautiful part. It works the other way around too. When you focus on leaving a positive mark on others, you don't just help the world, you help yourself. You become stronger, wiser, and more connected to what truly matters. Why does striving to leave a mark on others help you too? Because when you start living with the common good in mind, something inside you shifts. That sense of emptiness fades. You feel useful, connected, and at peace with yourself. Helping others doesn't just leave a mark on them, it changes something within you as well. Let me share a real story to show you what I mean. A young economist once noticed a simple yet devastating problem. Millions of people couldn't move forward because no one would lend them money. Just small amounts, enough to start a business or survive a rough patch. That man, Muhammad Yunus, didn't just complain about the system. He created a new one. He started lending money to poor women in Bangladesh. At first, people thought the idea was ridiculous. How would they ever pay it back? But Yunus believed in one thing. the strength of community, and the will to improve. He was right. What started as a few small loans ended up changing millions of lives. Here's the takeaway. Eunice didn't just help others. He transformed himself in the process. He found a purpose that gave his life meaning. Because when you live for something bigger than yourself, when you decide to leave a mark on others, you grow too. So how do you start? You don't need to change the world or win a Nobel Prize. It begins with what you do today, right here, right now. For instance, think about your talents and share them. We all have something to offer. Knowledge, time, skills. Can you cook? Teach someone a recipe. Are you a good listener? Give your time to a friend. Are you passionate about something? Inspire others to start. Leaving a mark doesn't require money or grand gestures, just intention. And here's another idea. Do something for someone without expecting anything in return. It can be as simple as listening to someone who needs it, helping a colleague catch up, or offering genuine advice. Small acts of generosity can create a much bigger difference than you realize. Remember this, the world doesn't need perfect heroes. It needs people who do what they can, where they are, with what they have. One small action on your part can be the ray of light someone else desperately needs. So tell me, what can you do today to leave your mark? Don't wait until tomorrow, because even the smallest sincere action doesn't just change someone else's life, it changes yours too. Lesson 11. Gratitude as a habit. Let me tell you a story about Juan. A few months ago, Juan felt like his life was falling apart. Problems at work, arguments at home with his kids, and a constant sense of dissatisfaction. One day, a friend suggested something simple yet strange. Write down 3 things he was grateful for every morning. At first, Juan didn't bother, but his friend kept insisting, so he gave it a try, half-heartedly, almost skeptically. Grateful for what, he thought. But he tried. That first day he wrote, "I'm grateful for my health." Nothing extraordinary, right? But something shifted. From that day on, his mind started focusing on what he had, rather than what he was missing. And do you know what happened next? No, Juan didn't win the lottery or get a magical promotion, but he started seeing things differently. That same day, he noticed how lucky he was to have a pleasant conversation with a coworker or to watch the sunset as he left the office. Gratitude didn't fix all his problems, but it gave him something far more valuable: perspective. What happened to Juan isn't unusual. There's science to back it up. A study from the University of California showed that practicing active gratitude increases happiness and reduces stress. And it doesn't take anything grand or much time. Just a few minutes a day are enough. From the very first day, your brain begins creating a new pattern, focusing on what you have instead of what you lack. And let me repeat, this isn't about big achievements. The key lies in the small, everyday things we often overlook. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." This isn't about ignoring problems, but recognizing that even on the hardest days, there's something to be grateful for. The Stoics knew that gratitude isn't just an emotion. It's a habit you train day by day. And believe me, it changes the way you see the world. Now, I know what you're thinking. My life is chaos. I barely have time to breathe, let alone make gratitude lists. Listen, I'm not asking you to spend an hour meditating on your blessings. I'm asking for 5 minutes, just 5 minutes, and it can make a difference starting today. How do you start? It's simple. Each morning, as soon as you wake up, say out loud one thing you're grateful for. Something small, something real. The warm coffee, the bed you slept in, the chance to start a new day. Yes, it might feel silly, but it works. Then, at the end of the day, take a minute to reflect on what you enjoyed most that day. Write down 2 things you're grateful for. Maybe it was the meal you had for dinner or a 5-minute chat with your mom. Read it back to yourself, and if you can, really feel it, because it's in those little things where transformation begins. It might not seem like much, but I promise you, this practice changes everything. From the very first day, your mind starts to focus on the positive instead of getting stuck in the negative. Gratitude doesn't erase your problems, but it gives you the strength and perspective to face them differently. And yes, that change can start today. My friend, life is full of things we take for granted. But when you learn to notice what you already have, what's already working, you begin to win. You free yourself from that constant feeling of lack. So here's what I want you to do. Think of one thing you're grateful for today and share it in the comments. Because trust me, when gratitude becomes a habit, everything starts to change. And that change can begin right now. Lesson 12. Your goals start with a pencil. My friend, be honest with yourself. Do you know where you want to go, or are you just letting life carry you along? If you don't know your destination, everything becomes more complicated. Listen, your goals are like a map. Without them, it's like wandering aimlessly through a forest, getting lost on paths that lead nowhere. And in the end, what happens? You waste time, drain your energy, and end up stuck in the same place as always. Let me give you the best advice to help you achieve everything you set your mind to. It might sound simple, but it's powerful. Write down your goals. Yes, it might seem like basic advice, right? But hear me out. I'm not talking about making just any list, like a shopping list. I'm talking about taking your dreams and turning them into a clear plan. Because when you don't write down your goals, what happens? They stay as vague ideas floating around in your head. Epictetus said it centuries ago, and it's just as true today. First, decide who you want to be. Then, do what you need to do. Think about it. How can you take action if you don't even know where you're headed? Now, apply that lesson to your life. Write down not only what you want to achieve, but also who you need to become to make it happen. Because it's not just about the results. It's about the process that transforms you. Do you want to know the impact of writing down your goals? Let me tell you about a young woman who had just graduated from one of the most prestigious universities in the world. She could have followed the traditional path, gotten a stable job, lived a comfortable life. But she didn't. Do you know why? Because she had one thing clear. Her goals weren't just dreams, they were her action plan. That young woman is Grace Beverly, an entrepreneur who, by the age of 25, had already built an empire. How did she do it? It wasn't luck, extraordinary talent, or magical connections. It was her ability to write down what she wanted and break it into concrete steps. In her podcast, Grace talks about how the simple act of writing her goals was the starting point that changed everything. But don't think she wrote down vague ideas like, "I want to be successful," or "Someday I'll start my own business." No, my friend. She wrote down exactly what she wanted to achieve and how she would do it, step by step. Every day, she knew what she had to do to move closer to her goals. She had designed her own roadmap to success. Now imagine this. You want to save money this year. Sounds easy, right? But here's the key question. Have you written down how much you want to save, how you're going to do it, and why? Because if you haven't, that goal will remain just an idea in the air. So how do you make it happen? First, write down a clear number. Second, break that goal into smaller steps. How much do you need to save each month? Then think, what adjustments can you make to your expenses? Could you cut back on eating out, cook more at home, or avoid impulse purchases? And third, write down your why. Maybe you want that money to travel, invest, or gain financial security. Writing it down gives you clarity and motivation. What's the next step? Divide your goal into sections. For example, if your goal is to save, create a page for expenses to cut, another for additional income, and one more for monthly progress. This will not only help you stay organized, but also allow you to see every small achievement. And that, my friend, will give you the momentum you need to keep going. It's not about becoming an accountant. It's about making your goal tangible. And don't forget, writing your goals once and forgetting them isn't enough. Review them every week. Ask yourself, am I making progress? What can I adjust? Goals aren't rigid. They're guides you can refine over time. Your goals aren't distant dreams. They're the first step toward designing your best self. Trust me, when you put your goals on paper, you start writing your own story. And what better story than one where you achieve everything you set out to do? Write your life the way you want to live it. Lesson 13. Tell me who you're with. Have you ever stopped to think if the people in your life are helping you move forward or holding you back? Maybe that's been your problem all along, and you just didn't realize it. Your inner circle might be the very thing that's keeping you stuck. Think about it. Do you have someone who's always complaining, always finding problems, someone who seems to enjoy tearing your ideas apart? If this sounds familiar, it might be time to make a change. Tell me who you're with, and I'll tell you who you are. Isn't just a clever saying, it's reality. The people you spend the most time with directly influence how you think, how you act, and where you're headed in life. Don't believe me? Picture someone who spends all their time surrounded by negativity. Gradually, they start seeing the world through the same lens until they stop trying altogether. Here's how I see it. The people who lift you up are like the sun to a sunflower. They nourish you, help you grow, and guide you toward the light. But the people who hold you back are like a constant shadow, blocking the sun. Or if you prefer, think of it the way Alex Rovira-Kelma does. Some people are wings and others are anchors. Wings lift you, inspire you, and help you soar higher. Anchors, on the other hand, drag you down, hold you back, and keep you stuck in the same place. Now, take a moment to reflect. Who in your life are the wings and who are the anchors? Picture this scenario. You have a dream, like starting your own business. You're super excited, but all you hear from the people around you is, "That's not going to work," or "You should go for something safer." Each comment feels like another stone in your backpack. How are you supposed to move forward like that? Now, change the scene. Imagine a group of people who say, "That sounds amazing, how can I help?" Or, "I've tried that too, let me share my experience." That difference, my friend, can transform your life. So, what can you do to start surrounding yourself with wings instead of anchors? First, do a little audit of your relationships. Yes, like you're an inspector. Think about the 5 people you spend the most time with. Do they inspire you, support you, push you to be better? Or are they more like a weight dragging you down? It's a simple but revealing exercise. You don't have to cut anyone off abruptly, but start prioritizing the people who genuinely help you grow. Spend your time and energy on those relationships that nurture you, and set boundaries with those that hold you back. No need for a big announcement. You just need to know where to invest your time wisely. Next, find your tribe. Because, my friend, you don't have to do this alone. If you want to start a business, surround yourself with entrepreneurs. If you want to learn something new, connect with people who share your interests. These days, there are no excuses. There are book clubs, online forums, local events. The opportunities to connect with people who share your values and goals are endless. And here's the most important part. Be the one to take the first step. If you want to surround yourself with better people, don't wait for them to come to you. Take the initiative. Invite someone you admire for a coffee, send a message to that group you're interested in, or show up at an event. Sometimes change begins with something as simple as saying, "Hi, how are you?" The most valuable connections often start in the most unexpected ways. Remember, as Seneca said, surround yourself with those who can make you better. Because surrounding yourself with the right people doesn't just improve your day, it can transform your entire life. Now tell me, are you ready to choose your company more wisely? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear how you plan to surround yourself with wings, not anchors. Lesson 14. Find a mentor. Have you ever felt lost? Like you're walking in the dark without knowing if you're headed in the right direction? Maybe you're trying to move forward in your career, improve some aspect of your life, or build something meaningful, but you don't know where to start or who to turn to. Here's the key question. Why struggle alone when others have already walked the same path? Let me tell you a story about Warren Buffett, one of the most successful investors in the world. Long before he became the Oracle of Omaha, Buffett was exactly where you might be now, eager to move forward, but lacking clarity. That's when Benjamin Graham stepped in, his mentor and the man who taught him the foundations of intelligent investing. Graham didn't just give him knowledge, he changed the way Buffett saw the world. He taught him not to let emotions dictate decisions, to focus on sound principles, and to always think long-term. The result? What Buffett learned from his mentor completely transformed his life. And here's the crucial point. If Buffett hadn't sought someone to guide him, he might not be the man we know today. Because yes, finding a mentor can change everything. Do you think Marcus Aurelius became the wise emperor we admire without someone to guide him? Of course not. His mentor was Junius Rusticus, the man who taught him the importance of discipline, introspection, and self-control. As Marcus Aurelius acknowledged in Meditations, it was Rusticus who helped him resist the pull of ego and embrace philosophy as a guide for life. A good mentor doesn't tell you what you want to hear. They tell you what you need to know. They open your eyes and teach you to see what you can't on your own. Now you might be wondering, how do I find a mentor? Don't worry, you don't need to chase someone famous or schedule an impossible meeting. Start here. First, identify the area where you need help. You can't improve everything at once. Is it your career, personal development, health? Be honest with yourself and decide what part of your life you want to transform. Second, look for someone who's already where you want to be. They don't have to be someone you know personally. It could be an author you admire, an expert you follow online, or even someone in your circle who's achieved what you're aiming for. Learn from their actions, their mistakes, and the way they think. But remember this, you need to be a good learner. If you can, ask questions, and most importantly, put their lessons into practice. A mentor is useless if you ignore their guidance. It's not about expecting them to fix your life. It's about using their teachings as a map to move forward more efficiently. I'm telling you this from experience. Finding someone to guide you doesn't just accelerate your growth, it saves you years of mistakes and unnecessary detours. A good mentor is like a flashlight in the dark. They don't carry you to the destination, but they light the way so you can get there yourself. The journey will always be yours. Yes, you can reach your goals on your own, but it will take longer, with more stumbles and wasted time. With a mentor, you move faster, with greater clarity and fewer doubts. A mentor doesn't walk the path for you, but they show you where to step. Can you think of anything more transformative than that? Lesson 15. Trade complaints for results. Have you ever seen a wheel stuck in the mud? No matter how much it spins, it doesn't move forward. It just throws more dirt around. Well, my friend, complaints work the same way. They spin in your mind, drain your energy, and get you nowhere. Meanwhile, life is slipping away while you stay stuck. Let's be real. Complaining doesn't solve anything. Instead of staying trapped in that cycle of negativity, take control. Sure, it's uncomfortable at first. And yes, it's hard work. But if you keep doing the same thing, how can you expect different results? Change starts with you, right here and right now. Epictetus once said, "Do not seek for things to happen the way you want them to. Rather, wish for them to happen as they do and you will be fine." Do you see it? This isn't about giving up, it's about using what you have to move forward. When you stop complaining and accept reality, you free up energy that you were wasting on negativity. That energy is exactly what you need to take action. And it's not just Stoics who say this. A Stanford University study found that frequent complaining not only reinforces negative patterns in your brain, but also increases stress levels. Every time you complain, your brain solidifies that habit a little more. The solution? Replace each complaint with an action, no matter how small. Here's the kicker. Your brain learns that habit too. Ever heard of Sergio Turul, better known as Pitufalo? This runner and content creator took on an almost impossible challenge, running 900 miles in 19 days during the summer heat. His one rule? No complaints. Every step he took was action, not excuses. Can you imagine the level of discipline that requires? But that's the secret. Eliminating complaints opens the door to extraordinary results. Not only did he achieve his goal, but he also inspired thousands of people. Because yes, complaints are contagious, but so is action. Now let's talk about you. Yes, you. How many times a day do you complain without even realizing it? About traffic, work, not having enough time. The list goes on. And what do you gain from it? Absolutely nothing. Here's some advice that works, though you might not like it at first. Change starts small, not with grand revolutions. Do you constantly complain about not having time to work out? Let's see if that's true. How many minutes do you spend scrolling on your phone when you wake up? Maybe 15 or 20. Cut 10 of those minutes and use them for yourself. Stretch, take a short walk, or do a few squats. You don't need a gym to start, just a decision. Does the mess at home drive you crazy? Instead of getting frustrated every time you see the chaos, commit to organizing one small area a day. Don't try to clean everything at once. Start with something simple, like that drawer full of things you never use. Throw away what's broken, donate what you don't need, and you'll soon notice how external order starts to clear your mind. And if your complaint is that work consumes you and you have no time for yourself, pause for a moment. What's the first thing you do when you get home? Do you collapse on the couch to watch something you're not even interested in? Swap that habit for something that feeds your soul. Read a book that truly inspires you, or have coffee with a friend. Here's a simple challenge for you. For 1 week, every time you catch yourself complaining, write it down. But here's the key. Next to it, write an action you can take, no matter how small. For example, if you jot down, "I'm so tired all the time," add, "Tonight I'll go to bed 30 minutes earlier." If you write, "I'm always running late," add, "I'll prepare my clothes and breakfast the night before." These actions don't just solve problems. They build habits that, over time, transform your mindset. Do you know what's going to surprise you the most? You won't even need a full week to start noticing the change. This principle could be the turning point your life needs. Because in just 1 day, you can stop being the person who complains and become someone who acts, someone who moves forward. Lesson 16. The real secret: consistency. My friend, we just talked about how discipline is essential to get started. But here's the real secret. Without consistency, discipline means nothing. It's like starting to fill a bucket with water and stopping before it's full. Every drop counts, even if it doesn't seem like it at first. But if you give up, how do you expect the bucket to fill itself? Consistency works like compound interest. Every small effort adds up and multiplies over time, even if you don't notice it right away. Have you ever tried to learn something new, like playing an instrument? At first, it feels impossible. Notes sound wrong, your fingers won't cooperate, and everything seems like a mess. It's easy to get frustrated and want to quit. But here's the secret. If you dedicate a little time every day, even just 5 minutes, something changes. Slowly, those small moments of practice turn into real progress. Think about the Stoics for a moment. Picture Seneca in a yoga class trying a complicated pose, wobbling and falling over. What do you think he'd do? Would he throw in the towel and never come back? Of course not. He'd get up, take a deep breath, and try again. Why? Because progress doesn't come from getting it perfect on the first try. It comes from being consistent, and he knew that well. Pay attention, because here's the key. Consistency is what turns effort into habit. Do you think you need big changes? You don't. Just small steps every day. If one day you don't have 20 minutes to work on something, don't skip it entirely. Spend 5 minutes. What matters isn't the amount of time, it's keeping the cycle going. Those small actions are like drops in the bucket, insignificant on their own, but powerful when they add up. Trust me, you'll notice the difference. And yes, I know life doesn't always cooperate. Some days get complicated. Unexpected things come up, and there are moments when you feel completely drained. That's normal. It happens to all of us. But listen, there's a simple rule that can make all the difference. Never let 2 days in a row go by without working on your habit. Did you miss 1 day? Don't stress. But if you let it turn into 2 days, you're opening the door to losing your momentum. It's like leaving an empty space on your calendar that starts to grow. And that empty space, it's the enemy of consistency. Want some practical advice? Track your progress. It can be a journal, an app, or even a note on your phone. Write down what you did today, even if it was something small. For example, I walked for 10 minutes today, or I learned 2 new phrases in a language. Seeing your progress, no matter how small, will give you a sense of achievement and motivate you to keep going. And don't forget this important point. Consistency is not perfection. It's perseverance. It's about getting up every day and taking one more step, even if it's a small one, even when you don't see immediate results. Because in the end, the results always come. As Seneca said, consistency is patience in action. And that patience, my friend, is the bridge to your transformation. It's not about instant results. It's about showing up every day. Every small effort you make today is an investment in the future you want to create. 17th lesson. Make challenges your allies. Imagine this. You're sitting alone in an empty classroom. Suddenly, the door creaks open, and in walks a woman with a stern expression. She doesn't say a word. She sits across from you, her gaze fixed on you, and under her arm is an enormous book. Slowly, she starts pointing out everything you don't want to face. Your mistakes, your fears, your failures. It's uncomfortable. It makes you angry. You look at her with suspicion and think, why is she here? What does she want from me? That woman is your challenge, the difficulty that has shown up in your life. But listen closely. She's not here to destroy you. She's here to teach you. Challenges are like teachers in disguise. They don't bring flowers or smiles, they bring tests and trials. And while they may make you uncomfortable at first, they're the ones that teach you the most in the end. Tell me if this sounds familiar. A problem blindsides you, and you feel like you can't handle it. Maybe you lost your job, a relationship ended, or something didn't go as planned. Your first reaction is to resist, to fight against what's happening, as if complaining or denying reality could change it. But it doesn't. It only drains you. What if, instead of fighting your challenge, you chose to use it to make yourself stronger? Seneca faced every difficulty head-on and learned from them. Do you think he ran away from every challenge life threw at him? Of course not. As he said, a man should not fear adversity, for it is through adversity that he discovers what he is capable of. Think about it. If everything were easy, you'd never grow. Challenges are there to show you who you really are and, more importantly, who you can become. Every challenge you face gives you the chance to build discipline, patience, and character. That's what transforms you. Now let me give you a challenge. Think of something that makes you uncomfortable, something you've been avoiding. Don't look for big tragedies. It could be as simple as resolving an argument with someone close or tackling a financial problem. Got it? Good. Now, figure out what lesson it's trying to teach you. Before you act, take a moment and ask yourself, what can I learn from this challenge? If it's an argument, maybe the lesson is that you need to improve your communication, listen better, or stop taking everything so personally. Next, take a courageous step. You don't have to solve everything all at once. Just do something small but decisive. If it's a financial issue, open your bank account right now and review your recent expenses. Spot one unnecessary subscription or impulsive purchase and cancel it today. It's a small action, but it shows you that you're in control. Finally, acknowledge your progress. After facing a challenge, pause and think, what did I gain from this? Maybe you didn't fix everything in an instant, but you took action. You learned something new about yourself. And most importantly, you stopped running away. That small step has already made you stronger. Do you know why this can transform your life in a single day? Because when you face something you've been avoiding, you break a mental pattern. You stop being someone who runs from problems and become someone who faces them. Today, it might be a conversation. Tomorrow, it'll be a bigger decision. But each time you train yourself to be better. The biggest mistake most people make is seeing challenges as the end of the road. But you're not like most people, my friend. I'm telling you this because this principle has been crucial in my own transformation. And here's what I've learned from experience. You can't stop problems from showing up, but you can choose how to face them. When you make challenges your allies, you start seeing the world differently. Every obstacle stops being an enemy and becomes a tool for growth. And that mindset, that shift, is what can transform your life. Yes, even in a single day. Lesson number 18. Change your mindset, change your destiny. Let me tell you a story that starts with a dream come true and ends with a devastating disaster. Lucas was a chef who had worked his entire life to open his own restaurant. He finally made it. The tables were always full, the customers were happy, and his business was thriving. But one day, everything changed. Boom! A hurricane tore through his city, and in a matter of hours, his restaurant was reduced to rubble. His dreams, his hard work, everything seemed lost. Devastating, right? What would you do in his place? Most people would have given up. But Lucas wasn't like most people. With the little he managed to salvage, a table, a few pots, and his determination, he turned his living room into an improvised kitchen. From there, he started cooking takeout meals. He didn't have money for big campaigns, so he turned to social media. With homemade photos and heartfelt messages, he offered delicious meals. The result? The community rallied around him. People who had never tried his food started buying and recommending it. What seemed like an ending became a new beginning. Today, Lucas not only rebuilt his business but created something much bigger. He now has several food stands across the country. His story is a reminder that even the worst storms can hide opportunities. Because, my friend, here's a secret. Your attitude is your compass. You can't control what happens around you, but you can control how you choose to face it. As Henry Kaiser once said, problems are only opportunities in work clothes. It's a fancy way of saying that the challenges you face can become the foundation of your success, if you have the courage to act. Epictetus put it another way. We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. That's exactly what Lucas did. He didn't dwell on what he had lost. He focused on what he could do with what he had. That mindset, my friend, doesn't just change the way you think, it changes your destiny. Imagine you're in the same town you've always been in, surrounded by the same things. You feel stuck, like life isn't moving forward. You think everything should come to you, the perfect opportunity, the ideal moment, the magical conditions to start something new. But my friend, what if the problem isn't in what surrounds you, but in how you see it? Opportunities don't fall from the sky. They're sought, worked for, and created. Changing your mindset is what opens doors. If you keep seeing the world as a trap, you'll never find the way out. Now, I want you to think about something. What challenge are you facing right now? Do this exercise. Write down one adjective to describe that problem. Is it frustrating? Overwhelming? Now flip it around and find something positive. Could it be exciting? A chance to grow? Changing how you see the problem could be the first step toward solving it. Also, every night, write down 3 positive things that happened during your day. They don't have to be big. Maybe you laughed at a meme or you enjoyed a sunny moment. This practice trains your mind to focus on the good, even when things seem tough. Because in the end, your mind is a lens. Adjust it well, and you'll see opportunities where others see only problems. It's not magic, it's practice. It's choosing every day to see the glass half full, even when it seems empty. And that choice changes everything. Now tell me, what are you willing to change in your mindset to transform your destiny? Lesson 19. Treat your time like a treasure. If today were your last day, what would you do differently? Would you spend it binging that show that keeps you glued to the couch? Would you scroll endlessly through Instagram stories, afraid to miss out on what everyone else is doing? Would you get upset because, of all days, it had to rain on your last one? I don't think so. Do you know what I believe? You'd make the most of it. Maybe you'd finally say yes to that project you've been putting off for months. Maybe you'd spend more time with the people you love. Or maybe you'd stop worrying about unimportant things and go for a walk by the sea. Now think, why wait for the last day to live like that? It's strange, isn't it? Only when we feel time slipping away do we understand its true value. But here's the truth, my friend. Your time is already limited. Every passing day is like spending a gold coin. Are you investing it in something worthwhile? Or are you letting it slip away without a second thought? If you truly want to transform your life, the first step is to start treating your time for what it is, your most precious treasure. But here's the problem. We often waste it without even realizing it. Hours spent on social media, watching random videos or checking notifications that are mostly ads. It's like having a chest full of gold coins and tossing them away one by one without a care. But watch out, your treasure chest isn't infinite. Marcus Aurelius put it plainly, live each day as if it were your last. He understood that time is irretrievable, which is why he acted with intention. Marcus Aurelius didn't waste his time on trivial things. He focused on what truly mattered. If you take this lesson to heart, you can start transforming your life right now. Because when you value your time, you begin to direct it toward what's truly important. Want to know how to start treating your time like the treasure it is? First, let's figure out how you're wasting it. Come on, don't resist. Unlock your phone and check how much time you spend on it every day. Be honest with yourself. If you find that hours are slipping away on things that don't add value, you've just identified your first task. Reclaim those hours. Second, use a calendar, but don't fill it with meaningless commitments. Learn to distinguish between events and tasks. Events are meetings or one-time activities. Tasks, on the other hand, are concrete actions that bring you closer to your goals. Here's the trick. Block out time in your calendar for those tasks as if they were appointments with someone important. Because spoiler, there's no one more important than you. And don't forget something essential. Your time also includes space for yourself. Don't cram every minute with work or responsibilities. Reserve moments to disconnect, to reflect, to simply be with yourself. Treating your time like a treasure doesn't mean exploiting it. It means balancing it. Remember what we've talked about. Taking back control of your life is possible, but it requires setting boundaries. Learn to say no to things that don't add value. Not everything deserves your time, and that's okay. My friend, your time is your greatest treasure, and you're spending it whether you like it or not. The question is, are you investing it in building the life you want, or are you letting it slip away? Transformation starts here, when you decide to use each day with intention, as if it truly were your last. Lesson 20. Live with gratitude, not expectation. Let me tell you a story. Once there was a farmer who, after months of working the land, faced a terrible drought. He looked at his dry fields with frustration, waiting for the skies to bring a storm that would save his crops. But the days passed, and the rain never came. Desperate, he sat by his field and thought, all this effort, for what? An old wise man from the village saw him and approached. What are you doing sitting here? He asked. I'm waiting for the rain, replied the farmer. The old man smiled and said, get up. Look at what you already have. Be thankful for the tools, the seeds, the sun that still shines. Use what's in your hands and keep working. The rain will come when the time is right. It's a simple story, but a powerful one, don't you think? You've probably been there too, spending your life waiting for the perfect opportunity, the ideal moment, or the right person. But here's the key. While you're waiting, you lose sight of what you already have. And what you have, if you make the most of it, is enough to start building the life you want. Maybe you're thinking, how is saying thank you all the time going to change anything? Let me tell you, that's where you're wrong. Gratitude isn't just saying thank you. It's a way of living. It's looking around and realizing everything that's already there for you, even when things aren't perfect. Marcus Aurelius understood this well when he wrote, do not dream of the things you don't have. Instead, recognize the blessings of what you do possess. Then remember with gratitude how you would long for them if they were not yours. Think of gratitude as a flashlight. When the path is dark, you don't have to wait for the sun to rise. You can turn on that light and start walking. It doesn't matter if the road is long or difficult. With every step you take, you'll get closer to where you want to be. My friend, don't make the same mistake so many people do, thinking gratitude is only for when things are going well. It's in the difficult moments when you need it the most, because when you practice gratitude, you focus on what you have instead of waiting for what's missing. It's a shift in perspective that can transform your life. But here's the truth. Living with gratitude doesn't mean settling. It doesn't mean sitting back and thinking everything is fine, just as it is. It means recognizing your blessings and using them as a foundation to build something greater. It's saying, I'm grateful for what I have, but I'll work for what I want. So, here's a challenge for you. Take action on your gratitude. Think of someone who has done something for you recently. It could be something small, like offering you advice or simply listening. Take a moment to send them a message, call them, or thank them in person. Not only will you feel more connected to others, but you will also experience the sense of fulfillment that comes from sharing your appreciation. And one more thing, live in the present. So often we spend our lives waiting for something to happen to make us happy. How many times have you said, when I get that job, when I have more money, when everything is perfect? But here's the wake-up call. Happiness isn't in the when, it's in the now. If you decide to live with gratitude today, you'll start noticing you already have more than you thought. Never forget, make gratitude your way of life. No matter how many storms you face, there's always something to be thankful for. And the more you practice this attitude, the more transformative it will be. Because in the end, living with gratitude doesn't just make you appreciate what you have, it frees you from the weight of expectations and allows you to move forward with lightness. Now tell me, what are you grateful for today? Share it in the comments and spread that light with others. Lesson 21. Never stop learning. Have you ever heard the story of the fox and the hedgehog? It begins with an energetic fox and a wise hedgehog living in the same forest. The fox was known for his cleverness and boundless energy. He darted here and there, always trying new things. One day exploring a valley, the next searching for food on a hill. He knew a little about everything and always had a plan for any situation. But his knowledge, while broad, was shallow. The hedgehog, on the other hand, was calm and methodical. He spent his days exploring the same terrain, observing carefully, and perfecting his skills in finding food and staying safe. He didn't move quickly or explore as much as the fox, but what he knew, he mastered completely. One day, a great storm hit the forest. The wind tore down trees, the river overflowed, and the landscape changed entirely. The fox, with his energy and curiosity, ran off to explore new areas but quickly got lost because his knowledge was too scattered. The hedgehog, though he knew everything about his small territory, was trapped because his entire world had been altered. Now tell me, which one are you? Are you the fox, who knows a little about everything but never goes deep? Or the hedgehog, who masters his domain but doesn't dare to explore beyond it? Perhaps the real key is to be a mix of both. Because, as Epictetus said, it is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. So what should you do to learn more? Keep the fox's curiosity to discover new things, but pair it with the hedgehog's depth to master what truly matters. My friend, life doesn't stop, and neither should you. When was the last time you learned something new? Something that made you see things from a different perspective? Here's the truth. Constant learning is what keeps you growing. Do you know what sets a mediocre person apart from someone who stands out? The willingness to keep learning. Pau Casals, the legendary composer and cellist, understood this. In one of his final interviews when he was 95 years old, yes, you heard that right, 95, he shared a powerful insight. Casals, already considered one of the greatest musicians in history, still practiced 6 hours a day. A young journalist, surprised, asked him, "Why do you do it? Why keep practicing so much when you're already a master?" With the calm wisdom of someone who truly valued learning, Casals replied, "Because I think I'm still making progress." That's powerful, isn't it? A man who had reached the pinnacle of his art wasn't satisfied. He didn't see learning as something that ended with age or success. He saw it as a lifelong journey. That's the attitude we should all adopt. Because it doesn't matter how old you are, how skilled you've become, or how many achievements you've collected. There's always something new to learn, a way to improve, another step to take. So, what are you waiting for to start learning something new? This is one of the most essential rules for completely transforming your life this year. Dedicate 15 minutes a day to learning. It could be reading a book, listening to a podcast, or simply practicing a skill you want to improve. And if you can, teach what you learn. Don't underestimate the power of sharing your knowledge. Did you know that when you explain something to someone, your brain works twice as hard? On one hand, you organize the information to communicate it, and on the other, you reinforce what you've learned within yourself. It's a cycle where everyone wins. You learn better, and the other person gains something valuable. Because, in the end, learning isn't just about gathering information. It's about growing. It's about transforming yourself. And remember this: only those who stop learning stop moving forward. After everything we've discussed, I want you to think about this. Every decision you make, every habit you choose, every change you embrace is building the life you'll live tomorrow. Now imagine for a moment what it would be like if you gave it your all. If every day you lived with purpose, with intention, as if it were your best opportunity. What could you achieve? What's coming next might just be the detail that changes everything. Stay tuned. It's worth it. Today, you hold the opportunity to change in your hands. It doesn't matter where you are or what you've been through. Every small step you take can bring you closer to the life you want. Remember, transforming your life isn't about luck. It's about choices. And those choices start here, now, with you. The path is in front of you. Will you take the next step? If you've made it this far, write in the comments, "I'm ready to transform." That way, I'll know who the true Stoic warriors are who made it to the end. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and give this video a like so you don't miss out on what's coming next. I also invite you to check out our playlist, which you'll see on the screen. It's packed with ideas, stories, and advice to help you navigate life with more wisdom and confidence. Click it, and let's keep moving forward together. Until next time, take care and keep embracing your inner Stoic.